This week's update made possible by Cherie Hicks, State Farm Insurance. We're live.
Fantastic.
Well, not live, recorded live, sort of, kind
Right.
of. That's your line.
Live on tape.
I kind of messed that up a little
Yeah.
bit. Today, we're doing things different.
Right.
We're north. in
Expanded our base.
Broadening our horizons.
Horizons.
There we go.
Yeah.
We are at Cherie Hicks State Farm office in Enid, back there.
Right.
And she brought us some swag.
Wow,
Got
very
your
nice.
mug.
Yes, got a mug.
There we go. And I got a Frisbee. We might want to give this away. Maybe answer a question and
Do
get
we
a
need
Frisbee.
a trivia?
Yeah. So I came unprepared, so we'll figure some way to give you that.
Yeah.
Understand this week we...
Do you know,
Oh, go ahead.
are these microwave and dishwasher safe?
I don't know.
Okay, so
Good point.
that could be the trivia question, although probably Cherie would be the only one that could answer that. So she'd win her own stuff.
I just
which is
noticed
probably not points.
her email ad. Her website is great. It's hickspackinsurance.com.
Yeah,
That's kind of
that is.
fun.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out our website. All right, we're going to talk to Cherie after Mike gets done, and she's got all kinds of really interesting stuff about her and her husband, Paul Hicks, our athletic director.
Right.
And so as soon as we wrap up with Mike, Cherie will be on here, and you can get to learn about them. What do you got
Fantastic.
cooking this week?
Well, probably the first thing we wanted to mention was that we've had three. This is always a week in arrears. So we've had 3 weeks in a row with no positive cases of positive tests, is the way I guess I should say it, in school. Some out of school, but nothing at school. So we had 3 weeks in a row with 0 cases. That's a huge
Very cool.
positive.
Very, very cool.
Again, I just can't reiterate enough how the precautions are what's helping this happen. And so we've got as uncomfortable as masks are and all of that, we got to maintain the path that we're on and doing the things that we're doing a little longer. We have taken advantage of it, and we've loosened up some of the things, like at the end of the ball game, the
the
football
ball game,
games.
you let the parents come out.
As soon as the students disperse from their end of the game, which that's the end of the game huddle is really the players' time anyway. It's really not a time for parents. But as soon as they disperse, the parents go out on the field. We opened the gate, and away they went. And again, we have no desire to keep people away from things and send people home. That's not our desire. That's not what we're shooting for. But the things we do are designed to keep kids in school and keep activities happening.
We're very fortunate. You know, a lot of schools are not doing that. In fact, there's some East Coast schools that have just never even gone back to school.
Right. Well, how odd is it to if you watch the news at 5 and 10 to see some Oklahoma City schools starting for their first day back on campus. So
really, I didn't realize it was
they've
that close to us that we're.
They've been doing things virtually, but some of the Metro and Tulsa area schools are for the first time attending with kids on campus, and so it's fairly close to home. And
wow.
Just that hour drive goes from we've missed 0 days. We have not shut school down a single day because of the COVID virus.
Wow.
We've had a good many kids and teachers gone every now and then, but as far as having school open where parents can go to work, kids can be fed breakfast and lunch and get their afternoon snack and have face-to-face time so that they have that social interaction and fight off depression and loneliness and isolation and all those things that go along with that being quarantined at home. We've been in a pretty good spot.
I enjoy watching at the football games. Mrs. Avila takes the east side and you take the west side. They're the gatekeepers, to keep people that should be going where they should be going and wearing the masks and things like that, and keeping people that shouldn't be on the field off the field, and so the cheerleaders and players can operate without masks and things.
Well, and we even had a situation where we had some parents that have been on the sideline taking pictures. And I did ask one time, hey, would you please, if you're going to be on the sideline, put a mask on? And responded, and man, I just don't think they had an issue with that.
I noticed Beth Kern is always out with me on the field, and we're both wearing our masks unless we're 100 yards apart from other humans. And then I did notice there were 2 parents out there with masks on.
Masks
so
on.
very good. Congratulations.
Again, community's been very supportive. They push. Don't get me wrong. I'm every time I make a decision, I get 4 people telling me how I could have made it better and how I should change it. But as far as working together and having the same goal, I can't praise the community enough and the school. We work together very, very well.
Very cool.
Someone asked me. I had a gentleman this morning. We were out looking at a big tree on the field at the playground that has some structural concerns. And he asked if we had a swim team, and I said, no, why? And he said, well, I saw it at the pool. And I explained, well, yes, that probably could happen because it is set up to where it would work. We don't at this time have a
that
swim
might be
team.
a community thing.
Could be.
Like the after, what do they call them? The community sports, the football and some of those kind of things.
Intramural?
Yeah.
Intramural
Think about
swimming.
it.
Yeah.
Somebody want to do a swim team thing, get a
Right.
hold of the town.
Yeah.
Sure.
What is it that they do? They have water polo, synchronized swimming.
Yep.
We could have a
I could do that.
synchronized. You could. Yeah. And you've been at the Legends gym working out, so you are building the
I'm getting ready
the
to
synchronized
my
swim team
my
body.
swim team. Yeah, probably not. Okay. We'll leave that to Ivan.
Yes.
Okay.
So 3 weeks. I think we started off 3 weeks where we didn't have a
3
case.
weeks in a row, and now we're heading into. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but we're heading into the holidays a little bit, and
Right.
we talked about holiday
Okay.
food boxes.
Well, we participate. The school, Coach Hicks and I both will attend regularly the Hennessey Ministerial Alliance, which is I'm sure everyone kind of knows, but it's the group of pastors in the community and some of the surrounding communities. Jimmy Birkenbile, I think he's just like a Northwest Oklahoma guy.
Yeah.
He's in everything, everywhere. But we're having holiday food boxes will be available to families in need on Friday the 11th from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. And they will, I think that's Friday, December the 11th. I probably should have written that down.
I'll find it and put it in the description.
Yeah, it's got to be Friday, December the 11th from 2 to 5. You pick those up at the Christian church, where they have that pull-through, that covered awning.
Yep.
But you have to sign up. So you have to contact the churches to sign up.
And you can do that through your own church.
Yes.
Because all the churches are connected to the
Yes.
Ministerial Alliance. So just reach out to your pastor or
Yeah.
office secretary, and they can guide you.
Absolutely. And it's an outreach. If you don't have a church, just go to any of the churches. Come by the school. We'll figure out how to get you hooked up as well. We're going to send notices home to all of our families that would qualify. And but you have to sign up by November 30th because it's a mammoth undertaking. And because of the COVID, in the past they've done a meal. Well, that's just not going to be available, but they're still going to serve shut-ins and families that have need with a food box. And we kicked around what the potential.
That part of, without throwing you a detour, is that part of the food bank? The Hennessey food bank?
It is not something that they do in conjunction. I don't believe. We certainly support both, but this is a one and done. This food box, so you could participate in the food bank on a regular basis, but this would be kind of a special, more of a holiday meal type thing.
In case you don't know, the Hennessey Methodist Church is sort of the host of this, but it's the food bank, and it's funded by donations. I think Pioneer Telephone and several others made a really large donation yesterday. That's on All About Hennessey. And anybody can participate in that every week. It's a weekly thing, and all the details are on the post that we made just yesterday.
And here's something else. The school actually has a food bank.
I didn't know that.
I believe Debbie Laddick is the one that manages that's kind of she has a passion for that and a heart for it. And so we try to take care of kids. And I think she, again, not only does food, but I think they look for clothing and different things that they make available for our families as well.
That.
It's not as open because, we just don't let a lot of folks come on campus right now, for one thing. And the folks that do come on campus, when things were good, we just are more guarded.
Gotcha.
Whereas the food bank at the Methodist Church is more for everyone. But yeah, Debbie does a fantastic job of taking care of that and take care of our kids.
Awesome. And then now you've got some donor choice things cooking.
Yes. So do we get the times of the day?
I'm sorry, I jumped over.
Friday, yes. You're just like a doggone pogo stick today. Friday, December the 11th, from 2 to 5 is when you pick up the boxes.
Okay.
November 30th is when you have to have signed up to get a box.
Gotcha.
And there you go. And it's at the Christian church. In that awning is where
under the Christian church drive-through thing.
Picked up. Yeah.
Let me have that so I can post that.
Well, okay.
Or you have more?
Yes, I do.
Okay, he's continuing.
I got more. I put them all on a
You're
list.
running them all together, though.
And I have misplaced a blue Hennessey Eagles clipboard.
Lost and found.
Lost and found? No, just lost.
Just lost.
If found,
not found. If you
found,
found
I wouldn't be telling
get
anybody.
a hold of Dr. Woods.
So
And it's a
if you
blue.
see it,
a blue clipboard.
A blue clipboard.
Okay.
Yes. And
Is there anything special about it?
Well, it's mine.
That's special
That's probably
enough.
the specialist thing about it that I can think of. There's nothing necessarily valuable about it, but it does, has the eagle engraved in the back, and we got a great
that engraving machine.
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
and so anyway,
Okay.
I'm missing that. If you can
All right.
help me find
Keep
it.
an eye out.
So CDC guidelines. We talk so much about following CDC guidelines and how we've done a job of doing that. They have changed again. So now what we've been operating off is you had to be within 6 feet approximately for 15 minutes continuous approximately. Mm-hmm. And that has changed to where instead of consecutive minutes, it is cumulative. Like if I walk in and I see you for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, and 5 minutes before you go home and you got the COVID, I would be having to be close contact quarantined. So again, that's a change. It doesn't sound like a big change, but it really is.
Okay.
It really is. I have no idea how they come up with
I'll
them.
just leave that alone.
We don't.
Okay.
We just have to deal with what we're handed.
Sure.
So.
Yep.
3 weeks of the positive cases. Okay. Quarantine. When you are quarantined, if you're a parent, a kid, anybody, you can't come on school property, even for extracurriculars. So if you are quarantined, now what you do,
and that's tested whether you're positive or not. If you've been knocked out with quarantine, then
not positive. Yeah, and that's a whole other thing.
But it won't go there.
If you're 7 days versus 10 days versus 14 days, all that business. But you can't be on school property if you've been quarantined. Now, that's an honor system because we don't know, and as of yet, they have not been branding folk. So it's just something you're going to have to stay away. And whether you're a student, like you can't be quarantined at home from school and then come to band practice or come to football practice or just hang out. You just can't. You're quarantined to be away.
Quarantine means quarantine.
So you don't spread it. And again, that's all we can do is manage the spread as best we can. Don't be at school if you have been quarantined.
Are you done with that sheet now?
I'm done. I'm going to give you both those.
Thank you very much.
I think I emailed you the other one.
Okay. Good. And I'll put all of the details for the holiday food thing in the description of this video. All right.
So, another thing we're getting ready for that's coming up is our winter December testing window. We use a product called NWEA. Mm-hmm. NWEA measures growth. So there's 2 ways that we measure student success. One is growth in a certain area, and one is mastery. They're 2 separate, but they do align somewhat. So like if I had a goal of being 6 foot tall, if I were to step up to the door and they mark the doorpost, mm-hmm. Then my kids were so angry at me when we sold the farm out at Gage because we had all of their.
You didn't take the door jamb off?
We didn't. Well, it wasn't actually a door jamb. It was actually a pole barn pole out of the shed.
Oh, yeah, chainsaw thing. Yeah, that kind of would have been ugly.
And so anyway, so if I wanted to be 6 foot tall, mm-hmm. when I step up there, if I measure and I'm 6 foot tall, I have mastered that.
Okay.
But if I step up and I'm only 5'9", but when I started out with my goal, I was 5'4", I show growth.
Okay.
I haven't reached mastery, which is my ultimate goal, but I have shown that I'm growing towards that, and we like to show growth in a year increments. And so one of the reasons we do the 1-to-1, we focus on standards more than we focus on textbooks, is because we want those standards we want to show growth continually, and eventually want to show mastery.
Okay.
So part of do that is we have to measure. What's worth doing is worth measuring. So we measure how the kids' improvement with the NWEA test, and that window is coming up in December. Now, when you back in the day,
is that mandatory?
Yes.
I guess if you go to school, you
that is mandatory with Hennessey. This is a Hennessey thing, not a state thing.
Gotcha.
So, because typically what I think everyone's used to is you'd go take a semester test, you get a score, and that's a mastery test. That's showing what you knew when you came in, if you were to do growth, you'd come in and you'd have a test at the first of the year, and you'd have a test at semester, and you'd say, okay, I didn't master everything, but I was way lower at the first, and so it shows that I've improved over the course of a semester.
Okay.
So
good.
So that testing window is coming up, and we ask folks to really be cognizant of that, get in bed, eat good, drink plenty of fluids, all that sort of thing, and because the tests are very important. So let's on thanking everybody for all the support. We had a great homecoming. I don't know if you remember, but we beat Chisholm.
Yeah.
I think that was
an exciting game.
It was. And
yep.
Talk about one play. Chisholm's going in to score, fumble the ball, we recover, and that was just flip the switch. And I thought that was the by far the most important turning point in the whole game.
Turning point of the game, and
so,
yeah, that was pretty neat.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And they were a well-matched teams.
Yep.
They were.
Yeah.
Yep.
We were just 1 point matched better.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody, we had the homecoming festivities.
Yep.
Again, not to the full extent, this shorter parade, some of that stuff, but that gives us something to shoot for. We'll have some growth towards mastering the parade.
There you go.
Next year.
And we did something different this year. This is a photographer thing that no one got, but we sure did. Is they always used to come from the west,
shooting
and the
into
photographers, me. And others were shooting right into the blazing sun, and
Yeah.
it was really, really hard to get good photos. Well, this year we reversed them, and they came from the east, and we had them nicely lit, and so the photos were much better.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like shooting with good sunlight, is there?
Yeah.
You can't
that time of night
replicate
even.
it. Yeah.
That time.
Such
It's
a
called
neat
golden
hue.
hour. It's a actual photo technical term,
Yeah.
golden hour, and everything just looks real pretty.
Remember when Kansas, do you remember that famous album cover with Kansas, the band Kansas, where they had that storm? Do you know that was all actually live? That happened
Well,
live?
that was back before Photoshop and all that
Oh,
stuff, so
yeah.
they had to wait for the storm to happen and then get the shot, and
But the clouds parted and they had that sunshine shine right on them. It was a pretty neat deal. To Kansas, I mean, like they were probably like the only 4 people there that would have seen it.
Yep.
Because it is Kansas. Okay, so thank you for all the help with homecoming. It turned out, we felt like it turned out really, really good. Again, parents got to participate, kids got to participate. So far, we've not seen any negative outcomes of that. And again, we that's what we're going to use to measure. What can we do to open up a little more? This is a cautionary thing. Slow down in the school zone. We have our young man, Officer Pitts, is our school resource officer. He is cruising around at that time of day, so
he
slow
does
down.
have radar.
He does.
And
He
he's a
does.
real police officer.
Yeah,
I had a question.
yeah.
I had a question.
Yes.
So when he's working for you, can he write tickets and things
Yes.
like a town officer?
He's the school resource officer, but he is actually employed by the city of Hennessey, and he is a Hennessey police officer. So then we pay Hennessey a set fee for his services during the day.
Right, but I mean, if he's out there and you're speeding and he gets you on
Yes.
radar, he can write you a ticket.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
a real
or
ticket.
Hawkeye or BJ, any of the guys
One
that
of
they're with
those.
him. So he. The point is, he is serving as a school resource officer as a title, but he still has all of his police department authority.
Gotcha.
He can arrest. So we have a school resource officer to provide protection for our students and our staff and anybody that's visiting. They're there. They're not there to police the campus. They're there to protect the campus. But in certain situations, the police department role usurps the school resource officer role. If there was a crime being committed, he would no longer be the school resource officer. He would be Officer Pitts, and he would react in that way. So he's a school, he's actually not even directly a school employee. He is a school resource officer that the town of Hennessey has provided for us, and we reimburse them. So again, something else that works really, really well. Officer Pitts has done a good job and has really worked in well with the kiddos. So back to the whole start of that is slow down in the school zone, or you will and will get a ticket.
Well, I noticed that there's a lot of traffic always. Most people know there's a lot of traffic back and forth between the athletic building and the school, and you just don't know when someone's going to dart out between all those cars. And
they're late for lunch, they're late for class, they're, who wants to do extra suicides if they miss.
And it's funny, the older, like the seniors in that, they kind of walk like this, so they're pretty easy to see. It's those little ones that go like,
they don't saunter.
Yeah.
They're more direct. I have two granddaughters. One saunters when she runs. One's direct. It's kind of like one with a purpose, one with because they like to run.
Yeah.
So. Something else is tonight we have a basketball scrimmage. I think Coach Singh said it's our women's team. I believe she said that's against Drummond. I can't remember what time it starts, but we really don't want fans there tonight. Talked with some parents. And again, they made the point we've only got 5 home games, and their family, some grandparents and all won't be able to travel. So parents, family, that's fine if you guys show up. But again, we don't just say, hey, I got nothing to do, let me go up to the scrimmage.
And if you do show up, you got to go upstairs.
Yeah, stay on the second level.
No floor
seating. Where the doors will be locked. There's signs on the doors. Wear your masks. Stay on the upper levels, social distance, do all that. Again, if you're sitting all by yourself and you take your mask off while you're isolated, that's kind of your decision. But again, to help us maintain that, again, our goal is to keep activities happening, to keep events going on, not to shut them down. And part of shutting them down is decided on how many cases of the COVID we have.
Now, is this
affected.
Girls? It's high school girls.
I know at least high school, and it may be junior high school. I don't remember. I didn't ask that particular question. Some coaches don't want fans, parents, anybody in during practice and scrimmages. So that's why I went and visited with Coach Singh, and she was all for that.
If Paul, if he's going to live cast video stream this.
Did not ask Patrick. Yeah,
Patrick.
I get them confused too.
Sorry, Patrick.
They're interchangeable.
Yes. No.
So,
well, yeah, kind of.
Where's Paul? I don't know, but here Patrick will do.
Patrick will work. Yeah.
And SpongeBob. So the whole group are fairly interchangeable.
Okay.
When we don't have Coach Hicks, Squidward will do.
Yes.
But if we have Coach Hicks, no Squidward.
So. We'll see if we can get that streamed tonight.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that happens this evening, and I don't have all that information.
Okay.
See, I was focused on the family members that wanted to come up and be a part of getting to watch the scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So I didn't.
And are they scrimmaging another team, or is it
Drummond? Drummond is a different team.
Okay. All right.
You know what? They're the Drummond.
Oh, that's your old school.
It is. It is. Oh. Do you know what their mascot is? Do you want to make that
a groundhog or a monkey?
No, it's a bulldog.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, we should have.
Could have had that be the.
Well, all right, sorry. Next time.
So there's that one.
That.
Last thing, we're entering what is typically known as the giving season. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know what the COVID's going to do with the 2020 giving season, but we have a program where our teachers can write, and if they receive a fully funded Donors Choose, and Donors Choose is a website that you can go to, and it's www.donorschoose.org, and then you can pick Hennessey schools, and you can contribute to projects that the teachers have posted online. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we do is we incentivize the teachers to do these grants as opposed to doing fundraisers, and that way you're not being chased down with a catalog full of stuff you may or may not particularly want at the time, or may be accosted with.
Well, and also the money goes directly to the cause. It doesn't. I guess there might be a little small percentage, but
there's a operation fee.
A very small percentage goes to the operation of this Donor's Choice. But when you buy something else, they get a much smaller percentage.
Right.
And the kids have to be chasing around and selling
absolutely.
stuff.
And so the way we look at it is let's say that the teacher has a $100 item, so they do a Donor's Choose for that project. Well, they get a stipend for doing that because the school gets 100% of the good, but we give the teacher back 25% of the value.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yes, so if it's $100 value, the teacher would get a $25 check. They get cash money.
Very cool.
And because again, we benefit. Have you priced a softball bat lately?
I hear they're quite expensive.
They are extremely, Coach Linsenmeyer has a Donors Choose project on there right now, and I don't remember how many bats it is, but it's like $2,600 is the project. So I would say that's probably like 700-800 bats, but I think maybe 3 or 4 is all it really is.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're really expensive
they are.
now.
They are.
Yeah.
I told him that to get a bat, he had to promise me so many home runs per bat. He's not been willing to do that yet. But the other thing that happens is places like Dick's Sporting Goods will run where they will match half. So what's a $2,700 set of bats, we end up getting for $1,300, and it goes directly to the softball team. That's just one example. We've got some extremely creative. Alyssa Knight just got named as a Donors Choose ambassador. I think she's a pre-K or kindergarten. When they get down there at those littles, I kind of have a hard time separating them out. But which is a pretty cool thing to have her in that role. She's like an advocate then amongst the teachers for Donors Choose. Mm-hmm. But if you're getting down to the end, and like I'm sure since you started doing the show, you've probably started worrying a whole lot more about your taxes, income taxes.
Oh, yes.
So this would be a way that you could donate to Donors Choose, and you could then deduct that from your income tax forms.
Yep.
So
very
again,
cool.
Great way.
That's a neat way to fund things. And if you go to the donorschoice.org,
Donors Choose.
Donorschoose.org.
So if Jack keeps sending you to Donors Choice,
that's
I
like
would not write the check.
place you could get donuts or something. I don't know, but anyway, when you go there and choose Hennessey, there's several of them, so you can pick your whatever your interest is. And
great point.
Or all of them, or
yes, because they run the whole. I just picked out the softball bats. I just happened to see that this morning when we had a couple teachers submit they had to submit a form, and I have to go through and I verify the numbers and that it's been fully funded and all that. And so I just happened to see Coach Linsenmeyer's post.
The science teachers, and there's a lot of quite a few of those.
The preponderance are classroom projects where they have gotten everything from those seeding balls that look like big cow udders that are upside down. They've got those. I mean, the different software, different Legos was big for a while. Engineering stuff. I mean, it's a wide gamut. And again, the real benefit is that you participate in that, but that's also money that's coming in from outside of the community to help support that. And so it's not just fully supported by just inside. And then when you got companies out there, they're matching usually half.
You don't get the matching thing with other type of fundraisers, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So again,
that's a really cool deal.
$2,700 worth of bats, and they're actually going to cost the school nothing, and Coach Linsenmeyer will get a stipend on top of that. So again, it's a great place, and you can go on and if you find something you particularly have a passion for, you can then send that out and let everybody know on your Facebook crew. So see, like if I were to do that, that would be invaluable because I don't do Facebook, so I really wouldn't have anyone to send it out to. So, but some of you folks that do Facebook, that's a great way to share that so that you can share.
Yeah, and you can, if you go and you see something, maybe your child's in it, you can share it and push it around and help encourage others to kick it in.
So
that's it.
That's all I got.
Awesome.
You got anything?
Very cool. I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Cherie.
Yep. Cherie, thanks for the cup and the frisbee. And if you hang out just a minute, Cherie will be here, and she's got some really fun stuff she's going to talk to us about. And
very nice.
Hang out. We'll be here with Cherie Hicks in just a few minutes. Thanks, Mike.
Jack.
This week's update made possible by Cherie Hicks, State Farm Insurance. And we're back. And I have a special guest here today, Cherie Hicks. And Cherie is the other half of the famous, infamous, that's bigger than famous, Paul Hicks, the Hennessey athletic director and head football coach. How is it to be married to such an epic guy?
Well, we don't tell him that because he would get even bigger head than he already has. So we'll just keep that a secret. But no, it's good. He's probably my better half, to be quite honest.
Very cool. Paul is such a cool guy. I've told you this off camera that I'm not an athletic guy, and I struggled with people that were because of bullying and things like that. And Paul is probably the coolest athletic director, football coach, just plain guy I've ever met. He's just an up and up guy.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. It makes me feel good to know people actually like them.
Very cool. Well, Cherie owns, is it Cherie Hicks State Farm or State Farm Cherie Hicks, or how do you do it?
Either one of those, State Farm, Cherie Hicks Agency, whatever you want to call it. Typically, we just say Cherie Hicks State Farm.
Very cool. And she has a brand new, really, really cool, what do you call it, industrial feeling?
Yeah, it's like an industrial modern office. It's pretty cool. Our Nicholas Construction, commercial, whatever they want to be called, they did a great job getting all of my designs that I had actually implemented. So kudos to them for the great job they did.
I've known the Nicholases for many, many years.
Yes.
I know that your life calling is to serve others and to help the community through volunteer work. And tell me a little bit about that. Why is that important?
Well, I would say that that's probably me and my husband's passion. We know that we're here for a reason, and that's to help those in need. And we actually feel like a lot of that comes from helping our youth, because we try so hard to be, I don't know, role models, I guess, to our youth. That's why he's a football coach, and he is able to mentor those young kids at an early age and really help them to get the best start that they can get. And we both have a passion for that, and we love serving our communities, whether it's through youth programs or helping the homeless or anyone in need, really.
I know that, I'm a member of the Hennessey Community Action Team, or the CAT team, and anytime we need help, Paul's right there with, here's the football team, here's whatever you need, and that's an enormous help to get young guys that can actually climb and do things. But
it is, and that also teaches those young men such a responsibility that, helps them throughout their life, and that's really our goal.
Very cool. Now, you met Paul, you were high school sweethearts. Where did you meet? Where were you going to school? Where did you guys live?
So we grew up in Manford, Oklahoma. We started dating when we were juniors in high school, I think. And somehow I've tolerated him for this long. It's worked.
It's coming out, Paul. That's funny. And you have 4 children. Now, I know your daughter, because she's always running around the football field and doing
Sage?
things. Yes.
Yes.
But I don't know the other 3.
So my 2 oldest are Titan and Cadence. Cadence is a football trainer, so she's always on the sidelines as well. Titan's in 7th grade, plays on the 7th and 8th grade football team, which is what I'm going to here shortly. And, we have a young one. His name is Knight. His nickname is Nightmare because he definitely keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, we take team photos at the beginning of the season every year, and we met him, and he was zooming around, and I think I had to rope him and reel him in.
Yes, that's typically my life right there, just reining my kids in.
That's funny. Now, I know you like to be outdoors. What kind of outdoors? I understand Paul doesn't like to camp.
Oh, no, he's not. He would be one of those guys that likes to go glamping.
But
yes,
with the shower.
He likes to sleep in a bed. But no, we just like to be outdoors, whether it's playing golf, hunting, fishing, just being outdoors with our family and grilling in the evenings and watching the kids play in the yard. We're pretty laid back, really.
That's pretty cool. Now, you're not from the insurance world. You were in the real estate world, were you?
Yes, I sold real estate before I got into insurance, but it didn't allow me to be as active in my kids' lives as I would like to have been. So I got to do all the community service and all of that, but I was home when my kids were gone, and I was gone when my kids were home, and insurance really allowed me to incorporate all of the things that I love, serving the community, being at all of my kids' functions, and just being available for my kids and my community when those times were needed.
Much better hours.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
you can actually go home at 5. And
I can. Typically, it's not 5, but yes.
within reason.
Yes.
Sure. Now, there's all kinds of insurance companies out there. Why did you choose State Farm? Why did you decide that was the best path?
Well, State Farm's values, they align with mine and my husband's. Faith, family, and then your career. And I loved that they definitely put that in perspective for all of their agents and their corporate headquarters as well. They also definitely have the best insurance as far as I'm concerned. So it really just was a win-win.
And why is insurance important? You know, sorry, I'm that guy that, oh, Jesus, that time again. You know, and we have to have multi-million-dollar insurance policies for our liabilities and those kind of things for the big corporate oil field work and working in helicopters and all the scary things. Usually when I bring that up, the insurance agent says, well, we maybe not can help you kind of thing. But that's a long story.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm the guy that every time it's that time to slog through the insurance process. But why is that important? I mean, why do we need that kind of stuff?
Well, we like to say if you plan when things are good, then you'll be covered when things aren't. And that being said, State Farm's motto is to be there to make your worst day a little better. We may not be able to fix everything, but at least we're going to be able to meet those needs. If we've covered your autos, your home, and your life insurance, then at least on that awful day, whether it's a car accident or a death or whatever it might be, then you and your family will be covered and your needs will be met.
That's very cool. Yeah, I can speak firsthand about having a good insurance agent can really change the outcome for a bad situation.
Well, good.
We had all of our equipment stolen. We were on a big shoot, a big production. It was actually a movie production, and I was spending the night, and someone broke into my car and took all kinds of stuff, and that was difficult to recover. But it turned out well because I had a good agent and I was well insured. So.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, very, very good. Now we all think about, I know life insurance is one of your big deals, and if I die, why is life insurance important?
Well, life insurance is super important, especially if you're the sole breadwinner in your home and you have a wife and kids, especially young kids, just to be able to make sure that, if you think about it, if you were to pass away, your wife and your kids would all be grieving. You wouldn't want them to have to be uprooted from their home if they didn't get to pay off their mortgage or just have to go back to work in 2 weeks or whatever. Having life insurance really just meets the needs of your family right then when the time is there and they're in their most desperate, most vulnerable time. So if we can make sure that those needs are met, that your wife is covered, your kids are covered, your kids can still have a college education if that was in your plan, or whatever your future plans might be, we want to still help those come to fruition, even if you weren't there to be a part of them.
Life goes on when you're not, and for those that are still here, that's good. That's well put. Now, I understand State Farm has some new, I don't know if they're rates or programs or whatever, but what you were telling me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we just recently, Oklahoma statewide, we just recently had auto rate decreases and homeowner insurance rate decreases. So we have really been able to take those customers that might have different companies and give them better policies with more value for the same price or sometimes even cheaper than what they're paying. But the goal isn't so much price, it's to make sure that they're fully covered and that those needs would be met if something was to happen.
And I understand packaging, or is that what you call it?
Bundling.
Bundling is like really important. I know it's important for your cable bill, but I guess insurance is very similar.
Yeah, so we have a lot of discounts associated with bundling packages. So typically if you get your home and auto together, then you get a pretty significant discount, which is huge on a homeowner's insurance policy.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. It was exciting hanging with you. Did I leave anything out or anything you wanted to throw out there? Or
no, I think we're good. We love being a part of the community of Hennessey. We came from a small town. We're happy to be in a small town again. We love that everyone keeps tabs on our kids and always lets us know if something's wrong.
You can tell you're in a small town when a crop duster flies by. This crop duster just went by. I think he touched the roof. It was very low.
It was.
Well, I'm excited because we see Paul every weekend, and I do out in the football field, and it's getting colder. Might not see him quite so much. And we appreciate.
You're not afraid of the cold, are you?
Oh, Lordy, I hate the cold. I'm a warm weather guy, sorry. I enjoy what your family has brought to our community and how it's really helped our athletes and not just, I didn't realize it, but in the past there was a athletic director and then a football head coach, and now it's one. I think that's important because he has a handle on the whole picture. He can see everything that's going on. So it's interesting to see. You go to a volleyball game and there's Paul, and we never saw that before. So he gets to know more kids and can benefit more kids because of that.
Yeah, and he gets to make a bigger impact on the whole school. School-wide, we have a kid in every single school at this point, so he's very active in all of them. From pre-K all the way to high school, so.
Got the whole city block there. We got it covered. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, Sheree, thank you so much for hanging out today, and we look forward to visiting with you again sometime. And say hi to Paul. I won't see him till Friday, and probably not at all because the game's at Avila this week, right?
It is. Yep.
Yep. So I'm probably going to be going to another game somewhere else, but.
I'll be there. I'll take notes for you.
All right. Would you get a couple pictures for me?
Definitely will.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. We'll see you next week with the, we can't call it the Dr. Wood Show, with the Hennessey School Update Show. Thanks for watching. This week's update made possible by Sheree Hicks, State Farm Insurance.